2% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't lived the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose, you better
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories and some good insight on things related to prison. I'm going to share some with y'all now. If you liked the video, be sure, man, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, man, yeah, I told you I get cracking on that mic. Yeah, that's me rapping on the intro. The flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. The name of that song is called Still Steppin'. It's not released yet, but if you want to check out some more of my music, go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations, and you will find some of it there. Now let's hop right up into this reaction. So I'm doing a reaction to a video by another content creator, another YouTuber by the name of Dubs. And like myself, Dubs also done 24 years straight in the California prison system. So a while ago, I did an interview on my channel where I had interviewed a dude who was from Long Beach and he was a black Southsider. Then later on, he went to jail. He got out. He turned Crip. He went through a whole lot, man. And I got a lot of interesting responses, right? So once I seen this video by Dubs, I decided, okay, you know what? Let me do my reaction to it, man. So let's check this video out right here. Let's get started.
To me, it's the same thing. It's in certain ways. If a black dude runs within a barrio, right? Your barrio accepts you. It's just prison is a little different. People have asked me what happens when you know black dudes run up the Southside,
And just to stay here, I think most of us know by now, but for those who may not, anytime you have a Mexican, Southern Mexican running with the blacks, whether it's Crips or Bloods, the Southern Mexicans are immediately gonna take offense to that. You know, they're gonna push up on somebody who has a little bit of influence with the blacks. And they're gonna request that this dude be moved, or else this dude be moved off the yard, or we're taking off on him, right? And so yeah, that's how that goes.
Remember in YA, and I've told stories before, YA was very racist. Where I was at in Paso was very racist. YTS, I don't remember it being as racial as Paso. But Paso had all the race riots going, and mandatory you had a gangbang on all your enemies. So it was different, right? But I remember a few black homies there. And I was cool with them. But I do remember other homies being like, I ain't eating after that vato. You know? And it was the racism that they had. It was, they didn't care. They weren't their homeboy from their barrio. You know, and they saw a color rather than a homie. You know, and I'm gonna say, I wanna tell a story. I remember being in New Folsom, beginning of my prison term, right? And I used to kick it with this dude from he was from Largo, Compton Barrio Largo. And he had been down, he had already, you know, he had done a lot of things, and I gravitated towards him, and I used to pick up game, soak up game from him, right? And I remember one day, some homies came on, they were clowning, they were like, hey, Holmes, hey, your homeboy Leroy's here, your homeboy Tyrone, and this and that. You know, all the, you know.
I guess what he's saying is those dudes was using all the stereotypical names that could be associated with blacks, right? And I got to keep it 100 as I always do, man. By those dudes making a joke like that, saying those type of things, I honestly don't feel that automatically makes them racist, right? If we keep it 100, who among us has not said things in the company or around friends that if you happen to say in a public forum or it was made public, some people would accuse you of being racist? Case in point, I got a good friend who's Cambodian. I met him doing time. He's been over to my house 3 or 4 times when a lot of my immediate homeboys who I grew up with don't know where I live because I haven't told them, right? So, every time he come over, we laugh, we clown. Man, that is our relationship now. That was our relationship in prison. And sometimes we say jokes that are stereotypical. I might say, hey, man, what's the price of Peking duck right about now? We laugh, we clown. Said, I don't know, man, a little less than chicken and watermelon. So, we clown like that. So just saying things like that alone, in my opinion, automatically doesn't make a person racist.
Trying to clown him. And he was like, who? And they say, hey, you got a homeboy that rolled up in the he's on Fish Row right now, and he's black. And so they were clowning him, right? But clowning with him. I don't want to say clowning him because he wasn't somebody you're just going to clown, but he liked to joke around, so they were joking around with him. And I was like, what's up with that, eh? And the way they were getting at him. And he was like, you know how the homies are. So when that bottle got cleared to come out, I think it was the next day he hit yard, and the homie was like, let me wrap to this bottle real quick. So I followed him, but gave him a little distance, but I could hear everything, right? And he told the black dude, he was from Compton, Barrio Pobre, right? And he asked him, he said, hey, where are you from? And he told him, I'm from Barrio Pobre. He was like, all right. And he said, hey, you're black, so I need to know right now today, are you going to roll with the homies? Or are you going to roll with your people? Because this is your first day hitting the yard. You have to establish that right now. And he said, I'm rolling with the homies.
A lot of times too, people ask me, hey, Chill, with all the time that you've done, have you ever seen a black dude who pushed with the Southsiders and the blacks had a problem with it? And the answer to that is no, and actually I myself asked many people who I've done time with, and every single one of them, with the exception of one, said no, they've never seen a situation where the blacks had a problem with a black dude who was riding with the Southerners. I don't know why that is, right? Now, for the one dude who did tell me, yes, he's seen it one time, he told me that the blacks stabbed the black dude who was riding with the Southerners, right? And of course, a riot ensued. I can't remember who told me that, but like I said, the majority of time when I asked people, they said no, they have never seen that be an issue. What reason? I don't know.
I'm from my barrio. He said, all right, cool. And the homie went and told the fellas, like, hey, nah, that's the homie. He's be treated like everybody else, this and that. Well, that's the theory, right? That's the theory. The reality is, and again, this is a touchy subject, man. But there was him, the black homie from Barrio Pobre, and there was another black homie from the Magicians, right? And they were sent on a holiday together pretty quick.
So what he's basically saying is the black dudes on their yard, they were sent on a mission. A holiday is a mission. They were sent to go put in some work.
And it was just to hey, get them off the yard, test their heart, but also they didn't want them on the yard. They didn't hit them, but they asked them, and if they would have said no, they would have hit them. But regardless, they went to the oil.
Now, basically what he's saying, like I said, is they sent them on a mission. I don't know why they didn't want them on the yard since they was black, and they pushed Southsiders and they ran with the Southsiders. But now when Dub says that, right, it takes me to a place even different, right? It makes me, I see things a little different. Because basically what he's saying is some dudes who naturally wasn't something wanted to be a part of something. They naturally wasn't Mexicans or Southsiders, but that's who they pushed with. Reminds me of dudes who have been from a certain area geographically, like dudes who are from the Inland Empire geographically, but they want to ride in a collective with dudes from the Los Angeles area. And I've said this many a times, right? And for that reason, when you don't fit into something and you don't have the natural elements that make you a part of whatever that group is that you're trying to hang out with, naturally, you're going to be tested. And like I said that many times, man, those dudes, because you don't have nothing in common. So they want to see if you have the same makeup as they have the makeup. And with the black dudes who are from the Inland Empire, but they threw their hat in with a Los Angeles based collective, they was pretty much torpedoes, like he just said about these other dudes. And sometimes it's often because when you're at one prison, you may have to go put in some work. And then when you get to another prison, you say, hey, I'm from such and such, but I ride with this type of car. Those dudes don't know you as well. So it's a continuous test.
And I'm not gonna lie, the one from Barrio Pobre, I didn't like him. And it had nothing to do with his skin color. It had everything to do with his way of carrying himself. The one from the Magicians I liked a lot. And so yeah, they were sent on a Harley. And a lot of times that's what happens when blacks run with the South. They have to be tested.
Now, when he says that too, it takes me back to a memory that I have, man. When I was in Ironwood, I would say somewhere around 1999, 2000, I was on A-Yard. There was a black dude who ran with the Southsiders. And the dude was cool, right? The dude was real cool, man. What I did not like about that dude was his name. The dude's name was Buckwheat. And for those of you guys who may not be familiar with the cartoon or the, not a cartoon, but the movie Little Rascals, or more like the show, there was a black dude on there by the name of Buckwheat. And to me, they made fun of the dude, right? And so back in my generation, a lot of individuals earned their nicknames either through something that they done or they got it in some type of joking or bagging session. I know today in this era, a lot of these youngsters, they'll name themselves. Oh, my name is Knockout. My name is Knockout. And every time they go to fight, they get beat up. But that's another story. But anyway, so to me, I vision this dude gaining his name, coming around hanging with the Mexican dudes, and they was teasing this dude, calling him Buckwheat. And so that is something that just really didn't sit well with me. Outside of that, he was a cool dude.
The way Walters look at it, they got to be tested. Now, I want to get into a term, and this will probably be the only time I'll talk about this. And there's going to be people that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I only speak from my experiences, my conversations, and what I saw and heard personally. I hear people talking about black sureños, and I've never heard of that in the joint. In the shoe, I know for a fact what I was told regarding that. Okay, and that's why I've always said I've heard of black Southsiders. There's black dudes from barrios, but the title sureño, I'm not gonna get into it. Those people that are in the know. That title is earned, and when you earn that title, it comes with obligations. It's a stepping stone to being something else in the criminal world. And no blacks can make that final. No blacks can ever make that final step. So if they can't make the final step, how would anybody believe they can make the first step?
Now, that's an extremely good point that he pointed out there, right? And basically what he's saying is you can be a black Southsider, right? The Sureño is in the upper echelon of something higher, right? It goes on to something higher. And so he said blacks can't make that certain step, right? So it's basically what he's saying is pretty much, you know, you can come get a job at Walmart. They'll let you work at Walmart. We'll let you stock the shelves. We'll let you mop the floors, but you will never be allowed into the boardroom. You will never be allowed a top ranking position at this company, right? And, you know, it is what it is, right? And I understand that, right? Because let's say you have a white Crip. You're never going to have a white Crip on the yard in a top influential position over all the black Crips. They're just not going to accept that, right? They're not going to accept that. They may accept this dude being a Crip, but they're not fit to accept this dude calling dogs, right? He may be able to have an influential voice, but as far as him just being the main dude calling dogs, it's not going down, right? Now, he may be in the county jail from whatever certain collective that he's from, and due to his reputation, he may have younger black homeboys that's going to listen to him and take his word due to his wisdom, due to his being older, and due to his pretty much seniority. But when you get among other Crips who are from everywhere, different collectives, you know, they're definitely not going to let a white Crip call dogs for the black Crips in a penitentiary. So I definitely get what he's saying.
If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So I'll tell you something too. I remember there was in Pelican Bay. I got out of the shoe, and this is when there were still llaveros, but llaveros always had their mesa. They had their we'll call it a committee of heads that they would run things across. You know, when they have a decision to make, at the end of the day, it was a llavero's decision, but he had his people with him. Call them your war council, whatever you want to call them. We don't use those terms, but I'm trying to just say it where people could understand. You pick their brain. Hey, you know, this is what's going on, this and that. And somebody had left this guy's crew, when, I don't know if he transferred or whatever, so he had an opening. And he chose, because he didn't see this individual by this color of his skin, but he chose a black homie from Lennox to sit with him and discuss matters with. And this person was going to be, as all of them were, recognized as having influence and authority on the facility, right? That position for that dude lasted probably 2 hours because there was a silent uproar. Just as I told you in the story about the white dude that was running things in the oil, there were people that were adamant. A black dude cannot speak for our people. That's not going to happen. That's going to get you whacked.
So I think I'll stop it right there. The name of that video is called Black Southsiders, My Experience, right? And so for those who may not know or new to the prison genre or whatever, the reason any particular race in prison disagrees with someone from their race running with another race is basically they view this dude as a race traitor, and it's also like, okay, you're a part of our race, you're a part of us, but if we happen to go to war, you're gonna ride with those dudes and be willing to do violence to us, right? And once again, I totally get it, right? Because I mentioned when I've been on the yards, when you have dudes who are from the Inland Empire, but they run with LA-based gangs, but they've grew up all their life in the Inland Empire. So you have dudes on the yard who have went to school with these dudes, possibly spent the night at these dudes' house, vice versa. They know their family. The person on the yard knows their family. but they riding with LA-based organizations. I've been on yards with dudes who are upset because they feel like this dude, his actions are equivalent to a traitor. And I've heard dudes say, right, man, I can't wait, man. I hope we get into it with those dudes, man. You know, that dude gonna be the first one I stab, talking about the dude from the Inland Empire. So I believe sometimes it's definitely only human nature to feel a sense of betrayal when it's someone who is naturally a part of what you are, but they choose to hang with someone else. But anyway, that's my little reaction on that. You already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.